Hello and welcome to the next installment of Let's Play Deus Ex Human Revolution. When we left off, we had just finished the prologue and had arrived at Sarif Industries. So, let's get started. Welcome to the revolution. I don't think it's going to give me a chance to read this without cutting me off. Yeah. Anyway, like I mentioned in the last video, we're on a 10-minute clock, so we have to move through here pretty fast, but if I pause, everything ends up okay. So, now that we have our augmentations, let me show you everything we have access to. Well, and we can get to the menu screen, too. First, your missions log is right here. Right now, all I have is main missions, active. M1, back in the saddle. Primary objectives, meet with Pritchard in the tech lab. Sarif Industries is facing a new crisis, but my retinal display is acting up. Pritchard can recalibrate it once I talk to him in the tech lab. Second floor, third office down from the escalators. Now, before I get into the rest of the menu, let me say that you do get to come back to Sarif Industries after the first level and fully explore it, and there's basically nothing that you can miss. There are, I think, one conversation, maybe, that you can miss if you don't get it now, but other than that, you can get everything when you come back. I will also mention, you can cheat to get a little bit of extra experience if you memorize some codes, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pretend that we're flying blind and we don't know any codes that we shouldn't know. We start with 2,500 credits. My next praxis is 5,000 experience points away, and at the moment, I have 0 experience. You could have 180 right now if you killed all 9 enemies in the prologue with headshots, but that's really it. My inventory is empty. As far as quest items, I have nothing. Let's go look at the augmentation screen. This is where we go to spend our praxis. You see I have 0 right now, but I'm going to show you all of the augmentations and then describe the order in which I'm going to get them and why. So, start off by looking at cranium augmentations, the social enhancer. Use, analyze people and persuade them. Let me make sure there's no more info. Use, analyze people and persuade them. More info. Social enhancer. The CASIE implant, C-A-S-I-E, provides its user with a direct monitor of behavior patterns and likely responses from conversational subjects. In real terms, this means the user can gain an insight into which conversational methods to employ in any given situation, discover subtle clues and intentions, and view a virtual persuasion gauge for their target. The computer-assisted social interaction enhancer is a cranial implant that ties directly into the user's existing I Know retinal prosthesis to relay environmental and personal data about targeted individuals in order to assist social interaction. The CASIE implant uses an optical psychophysiological responses analyzer, aka optical polygraph, to gauge a rudimentary psychological profile based on facial expression, body language, and environmental cues. Combined with the advanced emotional intelligence enhancer software engine, the system can deliver real-time predictive data directly to the user, enabling them to correctly interpret responses and draw the desired result from face-to-face conversations. Emotional intelligence enhancer. Use, analyze people and persuade them into following certain courses of action. Directions, see the more info section. Activation, contextual, energy consumption, none. Emotional Intelligence Enhancer. The Emotional Intelligence Enhancer combines several systems, including an optical polygraph, personality analyzer, and synthetic pheromones propagator. Optical polygraph appears as a meter in the upper left corner of your vision, indicates whether you are swaying your target to your way of thinking by reading involuntary reactions like blush response, pupil dilation, and increased heart rate. Personality Analyzer displays helpful insights about the personality you were dealing with on the right side of your vision. Synthetic Pheromones Propagator releases bioengineered pheromones designed to influence behavior. As a subject talks, keep track of the number of times each personality type, alpha, omega, beta, lights up in the meter. The dominant type will fill more boxes overall. When prompted, select the pheromone most likely to influence it. Now, we will eventually get the social enhancer for a couple of reasons. The first reason is just that it's cool. It adds a lot to the conversations in the game that you wouldn't otherwise get to see. And the second reason is that at one point, it is the only way to access certain experience points. So it'll cost 2 praxis points. I think it's going to be a while before I get it, because there are certain things I have to get right away, which I'll talk about when I get to them. But eventually we will get the social enhancer. Let's look at the next cranium augmentation. Radar system. Use. Track enemy combatants, security cameras, turrets, and robots via an on-screen radar. You get this at the start. You don't have to spend any praxis to get it. In its basic mode, the Wayfinder radar system gives the user a limited-range radar indicator, which is projected directly onto the Retina optical user interface. In its advanced mode, the augmentation's detection threshold can be increased, and the movement of targets can be tracked even beyond visual range. The radar system augmentation is an enhancement of the Rhino Retinal Prosthesis, providing a rudimentary radar scope that displays the location of designated units, including enemy combatants, electronic devices, or other targets of interest. The augmentation consists of a cranial implant that contains the core processor, ranging and detection system, and a connective link to the user's visual cortex. Next, Radar 1, we also start with it, no praxis needed. Use. Track hostile targets up to a range of 25 meters. Targets must be visually acquired before they can be displayed. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The Wayfinder radar system augmentation serves as a sensing and early warning device. Beginning users can tune it to keep track of any threat, so long as the threat remains within a local threat vector. And Radar 2 would cost 1 praxis point to get. Use. Doubles the radar's range to 50 meters. Targets will also be displayed as soon as they are in range. Visually acquiring them is no longer required. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. With some patience, Wayfinder users can fine-tune the unit to double its range when keeping track of any threat. Radar 2 is handy, but it's not necessary, so I'll eventually get every augmentation, but Radar 2 is not a priority. I should also mention that once you spend the 2 praxis points on the social enhancer, you get the emotional intelligence enhancer for free along with it. Moving on, InfoLink. You'll notice it starts out fully upgraded. Use. Communicate wirelessly anywhere. We start with this. The InfoLink telecommunications package enables users to receive and transmit messages without generating audible sounds through implanted cochlear and vibration detection devices. Video signals accompanying incoming transmissions are projected directly onto the user's retina, provided an Rhino retinal prosthesis is also implanted. At its most basic level, the package uses tight-band microwave signals when sending and receiving. With experience, users can obtain mastery over wideband transmissions as well, enabling them to interface with line-of-sight computer terminals or similar devices. Essentially a microelectronic membrane processor implanted at the rear of the skull, just behind the ear, the InfoLink telecommunications package is a short-range audio-visual transceiver for digital video, audio, and data signals. A vibrational pickup mounted in the mastoid bone allows users to transmit subvocalized verbal communications, while a cochlear implant relays audio information directly into the ear. We start with that. We start with the Cochlear Implant. Use. Receive communications without fearing of being overheard. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The Cochlear Implant component of the InfoLink telecommunications package sends incoming audio transmissions directly into the user's ear canal, eliminating the need for unsightly or uncomfortable headphones. We start with the subvocal communication implant. Use. Communicate without being heard. Activation automatic. Energy consumption none. A microprobe mastoid subvocal communication implant also comes standard with the InfoLink package, allowing users to talk back to transmission senders using subvocal tone ranges. So that's just flavor because we start with all that. Stealth enhancer. 2 praxis points to activate this. Use. Enable stealth-related information such as cones of vision, last known location, and allows to mark and track targets at a distance. In its most basic mode, the Stealth Monitor Augmentation provides users with an ambient noise feedback indicator projected directly onto their optical display. In its advanced mode, the augmentation can provide a rudimentary tracking scope capable of showing the sight lines of observed enemy units. A cranial implant with a series of hair-thin dermal sensors typically implanted along the crown of the skull, the Stealth Enhancer ties into existing vision augmentations and provides a direct feedback to the level of ambient sound generated by the user. The implant's central processing unit can also perform instant situation-based analysis of targets identified via line of sight, and is capable of predicting the vision cones of these targets with great accuracy, even after loss of direct observation. The Stealth Enhancer, I'm sorry to say, is pretty useless. This is damn near the bottom of the list in terms of priority. But let's look at everything else. Once we spend the 2 praxis to get it, we get noise feedback for free. Use displays the range at which the noise you produce travels. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The enhanced noise feedback functionality of the Stealth Monitor gives its user a real-time representation of personally generated noise levels and their detection range. From there, if you spend another praxis point, you unlock Cones of Vision. Use displays the enemy's cones of vision, activation automatic, energy consumption none. The enhanced vision feedback functionality of the Stealth Monitor allows experienced users to define and track the sight cones of enemy targets, either organic or inorganic. That's also useless. If you spend 1 praxis point past activation, you get the last known location marker. Use. Once detected, displays an icon at the location the enemy last saw you. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. This stealth upgrade gets activated upon detection by enemy forces, and monitors the opponent's behavior and eye movements in order to determine whether they've lost sight of the user or not. Once an evasion is successful, the onboard software places a marker at the approximate location where enemies are expecting the user to be. This marker appears only in the user's field of view via augmented reality, and helps him slip away unnoticed by showing him where the enemy thinks he is. Again, useless. And all 3 tiers of this are useless too, but I'll still show them to you. Mark and Track 1.0 costs 1 praxis after activating the Stealth Enhancer. Use. Displays an icon over up to 3 targets so they can be tracked easily. Activation. From a distance, place the reticule over an opponent and hold the interaction button to mark him. Deactivation. Aim at the tracking icon and hold the interaction button. By tagging targets, the user is able to track their movement up to a range of 100 meters. An icon appears in the user's field of view, displaying the target's location at all times, making stealth operations that much easier. This basic version can track up to 3 targets simultaneously. If you spend another praxis point, you can upgrade to Mark and Track 2.0, also useless. Use. Displays an icon over up to 5 targets so they can be tracked easily. Activation. From a distance, place the reticule over an opponent and hold the interaction button to mark him. Deactivation. Aim at the tracking icon and hold the interaction button. More info. More experienced users will be able to track up to 5 targets. Marked targets can also be unmarked in order to free up marking slots. Again, that's another praxis after unlocking Mark and Track 1.0. Finally, if you spend another praxis after unlocking Mark and Track 2.0, you can get Mark and Track 3.0. Also useless. Use. Displays an icon over up to 7 targets so they can be tracked easily. Activation. From a distance, place the reticule over an opponent and hold the interaction button to mark him. Deactivation. Aim at the tracking icon and hold the interaction button. The Mark and Track software is ultimately able to follow up to 7 targets in all. However, only users who have invested the time and effort getting familiar with this feature will be able to unlock its full potential. Alright, let's head on back. Next, we have Hacking Capture. Now this is an important tab. You see, we start with 3 things already unlocked. Hacking Capture is unlocked by default. Use. Hack higher level terminals and disable security devices linked to security hubs. More info. At its most basic level, the hacking device gives its user the CPU clock cycles necessary to attempt a data penetration of target computer systems before triggering any intrusion countermeasures or alarms. At advanced levels of operation, the augmentation facilitates direct interface with other electronic security and tactical devices. Implanted in the cranium, the MHD995 hacking device is a dedicated microcomputer module featuring a series of processors and databases programmed with multiple code-breaking and counter-cryptography subroutines. When deployed, the hacking device provides immediate assistance to any user attempting to bypass, shut down, or otherwise override electronic systems via a standard terminal interface. The unit is capable of identifying and providing eyewear intrusion solutions for over 15 million discrete software barriers. Now, we also start with Capture 1. Use Hack Level 1 terminals, activation automatic, energy consumption none. At its most basic level, the MHD995 hacking device provides its user with the enhanced ability to override Level 1 terminals and security camera systems. You can also spend 1 Praxis to upgrade to Capture 2. Use Hack Level 2 terminals, activation automatic, energy consumption none. With some familiarity, users of the MHD995 hacking device can discover increased competence in overriding electronic systems, enabling them to take on Level 2 terminals. Another Praxis after unlocking Capture 2 will get you Capture 3. Use Hack Level 3 terminals, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Experienced users of the MHD995 hacking device gain an authoritative edge over interlaced system nodes, enabling them to maneuver through the electronic pathways of Level 3 terminals with ease. If you spend another Praxis after unlocking Capture 3, you can unlock Capture 4. Use Hack Level 4 terminals, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Those users who hone their aptitude with the MHD995 hacking device will discover a near-instinctive speed and responsiveness when navigating electronic matrices and overcoming Level 4 software barriers. And if you spend 1 more Praxis after getting Capture 4, you can get Capture 5. Use Hack Level 5 terminals, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Mastering the MHD995 hacking device gifts users with a mastery over all foreign electronic systems, thus enabling them to navigate and control pathways and nodes with the ease of a network administrator. Getting Capture all the way up to Level 5 is extremely important. It's very high priority. It is the second thing I'm going to do. There's 1 augmentation that I need to get even earlier than this, but every terminal that we hack gives us experience points, and in Detroit, in the first hub, there are, if I remember correctly, at least 2 Level 5 terminals for us to hack, so we have to get Capture 5 very quickly. Very high priority, useful for the entire game. You want to get Capture fully upgraded. Now let's move to the other side of the tree. You start off with Camera Domination. Use deactivate cameras linked to security hubs. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The MHD995 hacking device has a powerful suite of enhanced functionalities that, in addition to the penetration of firewalls for clandestine data retrieval, can also enable an experienced hacker to co-opt and take control of deeper subsystems, such as those used by security cameras. If you spend 1 Praxis, you can get Turret Domination. Use disable turrets linked to security hubs or turn them against their allies. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Experienced MHD995 users will be able to co-opt automatic weapon turrets and turn them against friendly forces or shut them down completely. And if you spend 1 more Praxis after getting Turret Domination, you get Robot Domination. Use disable robots linked to security hubs or turn them against their allies. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Users who decide to hone their co-option skills even further will eventually be able to seize control of robots and either turn them against friendly forces or shut them down completely. Now there's at least 1 place where we have to have Turret Domination in order to max out our experience points, but that place is in the last level. So, Turret Domination, apart from that, isn't all that useful, but we'll be getting it for sure. Robot Domination is also a pretty useful thing in terms of experience. You don't absolutely have to get it, but it's really useful starting about halfway through the game in the Tai Young medical section, so really, this entire skill tree is just awesome to have, and we're going to get all of these as soon as we can. But far and away, the top priority here is getting Capture up to level 5. Hacking Analyze add-on. He takes 1 praxis to get the Hacking Analyze add-on. Use: gain information about nodes on a network before making a decision. Use of the Network Scout Electronic Systems Analysis Augmentation in conjunction with a hacking augmentation device provides the user with important information during a hacking scenario, including the percentage likelihood of detection, content of APIs, and/or content of data stores. Compatible with all top-line hacking augmentations, the Network Scout is a cranial implantation that provides instantaneous feedback on every aspect of an electronic intrusion. Upon access, highly specialized scripts issue forth to relay data back to the parent hacking augmentation, efficiently employing its inherent functionality to present crucial real-time status. This is completely useless. This is another bottom-of-the-barrel, don't get it until you have everything else type of aug, but let's look at the rest of it. Once you buy the Analyze add-on, for free you get detection feedback. Use: place the cursor over any node to see the chances of detection. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. With a little bit of practice, the Network Scout user can evaluate the likelihood of detection for an attack on any node not currently in range. If you spend 1 more praxis past detection feedback, you get Analyze all data stores. Use: place the cursor over a data store to view its content. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The very advanced Network Scout user can determine the content of any data store within the targeted system, regardless of linking or degree of control. Again, this whole tree is completely worthless. Hacking Fortify. We start out with Hacking Fortify. Use: when used on a node, it increases its rating in order to slow down trace attempts. The software defenses provided by the Costakayan Neural Optics Node Fortifier instantly turn any captured node into an intruder asset against the host system, rendering it both a barrier against detection and a solid beachhead from which to launch further intrusion. The power of these defenses are variable, determined by the user's skill and preference. A cranial implant compatible with most high-end hacking devices, the Costakayan Neural Optics Node Fortifier immediately downloads a software protection package tailored to the intruder specifications upon capture of any electronic system node. This package includes firewall software and counter-intrusion measures, stalling and confounding the host subroutine, and fortifying the captured node against reuptake. We also start with Fortify 1. Use: adds 1 point to a node's rating. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Neophyte users of the Costakayan Neural Optics Node Fortifier will immediately discover a difference in the strength of the software barriers established for their captured nodes. If you spend 1 praxis, you can upgrade it to Fortify 2. Use: adds 2 points to a node's rating. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. A bit of practice affords the Costakayan Neural Optics Node Fortifier user the ability to significantly enhance the defenses on co-opted systems. If you spend 1 more praxis from Fortify 2, you get Fortify 3. Use: adds 3 points to a node's rating. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Solid protection against intrusion countermeasures is available to anyone with the Costakayan Neural Optics Node Fortifier once they've developed a reasonable aptitude with the device. These are pretty handy. It's not as good as hacking stealth, and it's not necessary for experience, but once we get... Let me briefly say a word about what my priorities are. First and foremost, I'm trying to maximize experience, so I'm going to start off by getting all the augmentations that I need in order to max out my experience points. Once I have those, I'm going to go for the ones that make the game easier in my subjective order of preference. So hacking Fortify, it does make things significantly easier. It's pretty useful, but it's kind of in the mid-tier of the usefulness upgrades, which come after the experience upgrades. Last cranium augmentation is hacking stealth. Activation cost is 1 praxis. Hacking stealth. Use decreases the chances of detection when capturing or fortifying nodes. Given enough time, even the most advanced electronic system can be penetrated. The MHD 995SH Informational Warfare Obfuscation Augmentation provides that mission-critical time with software as sophisticated as that found within any defense grid. A natural companion to the MHD 995 Tactical Information Warfare Augmentation, the MHD 995SH Informational Warfare Obfuscation Augmentation slots neatly beside that device within the cranium. During an intrusion scenario, the obfuscation augmentation actively transmits misdirection and noise packets throughout the target system, alternately confusing and confounding active software defenses, decreasing the likelihood of detection by intrusion countermeasures. After we get hacking stealth, you get stealth 1 for free. Use decreases chances of detection by 15%, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Even from first use, the MHD 995SH Informational Warfare Obfuscation Augmentation provides a 15% decrease in the detection probability of any intrusive action, down to a minimum of 15%. From Stealth 1, if you spend another praxis, you get Stealth 2. Use decreases chances of detection by 30%, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Familiarity with the MHD 995SH Informational Warfare Obfuscation Augmentation will decrease the likelihood of detection for any intrusive action by 30%, down to a minimum of 15%. And another praxis from Stealth 2 will get you Stealth 3. Use decreases chances of detection by 45%, activation automatic, energy consumption none. A skilled user of the MHD 995SH Informational Warfare Obfuscation Augmentation will experience a 45% decrease across the board in terms of detection likelihoods for intrusive actions, down to a minimum of 15%. The Hacking Stealth Augmentation doesn't unlock any experience points, but it's probably the most useful augmentation that doesn't. So once I get all of my necessary experience augs, this will be my top priority, because I'm going to be hacking everything in the game, and this just makes it much, much easier to do. So, I'm going to take a drink. And move on to torso augmentations. We start off with the Sentinel RX Health System, which we start off already having. Sentinel RX Health System. Use regenerates health. The Sentinel RX Health System is a combination implant that uses electrocardio action, adrenal stimuli, and protein therapy to fight infection and injury through a limited regenerative capacity. While it is no replacement for proper medical care, it can keep a user alive in the most critical of circumstances. A decentralized augmentation made up of several smaller units. The primary components are a series of hair-fine sensor probes connected to all the vital organs, providing real-time biomedical data to a central health monitor unit. This unit tracks the medical condition of the user and triggers secondary modules when it registers the incidence of critical damage through internal or external trauma. These modules are implanted in the heart tissue, the lymphatic system, and adrenal glands, and utilize microelectric charges and phased-released chemicals to stimulate the human body's healing reaction. We start off with the Cardioverter-Defibrillator. Use regenerates health, activation automatic, energy consumption none. The Sentinel RX Health System comes fitted as standard with an implanted Cardioverter-Defibrillator, capable of restarting a human heart up to 80 times without requiring a recharge. We also start with angiogenesis protein therapy. Use regenerates health, activation automatic, energy consumption none. The Sentinel implant package also includes the angiogenesis protein therapy delivery system, providing state-of-the-art biomedical care directly to where it is needed in the body. So, we do have health regeneration. Next torso augmentation is the Sarif Series 8 Energy Converter. Use grants additional energy cells and speeds up energy recovery. We start with this. The Sarif Series 8 energy converter gives users the ability to maximize the energy available to any and all of their neuro-augmentations by transforming ordinary food to energy within augmentation-specific cells. With practice, these cells can increase in number and efficiency, ensuring that energy will always be there when needed. Employing processes similar to those whereby the human digestive system converts organic nutrients from food into electrochemical energy, the Sarif Series 8 energy converter further adapts electrochemicals into neuroenhancement specific potential, first creating discrete capacitors and then charging those cells with augmentation dedicated energy. Let's start over here first. We start with base energy level. Use grants 2 energy cells, activation automatic, energy consumption none. At the basic level, the energy converter enables users to fill up 2 energy cells for later use. If we spend 1 praxis, we get energy level upgrade 1. Use grants an extra energy cell, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Intermediate users of the energy converter can fill up an additional energy cell for later use, giving them a total count of 3. Another praxis from energy level upgrade 1 gets you energy level upgrade 2. Use grants an extra energy cell, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Advanced energy converter users can create yet 1 more energy cell for later use, giving them a total count of 4. 1 more praxis from energy level upgrade 2 gets us energy level upgrade 3. Use grants an extra energy cell, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Mastery of the energy converter enables users to rely on a total count of 5 energy cells for later use. Over here, we start with base recharge rate. Use recharges partially depleted energy cells, activation automatic, energy consumption none. The base level recharge rate of the energy reclamation system takes an initial 10 seconds to kick in, but once active, will completely refill any partially depleted energy cell within an additional 30 seconds. 1 praxis gets you the recharge rate upgrade 1. Use speeds up energy recharge, activation automatic, energy consumption none. Advanced energy converter users can feel their energy reclamation system start to kick in after only 5 seconds. Once active, the system will recharge a single energy cell in approximately 25 more seconds. And finally, 1 praxis from recharge rate upgrade 1 gets you recharge rate upgrade 2. Use speeds up energy recharge, activation automatic, energy consumption none. The most experienced energy converter users will only need 20 seconds for 1 cell to recharge fully, with no delay before charge up begins. This whole tree is also very useful. It'll probably be the second thing that I work up after getting my hacking stealth augmentations. But it also doesn't unlock any extra experience, so it comes below every augmentation that does. Next, we have the Implanted Rebreather. You can activate it with 2 praxis. Use protects against harmful gases, allows to sprint for longer periods. Concealed in the chest cavity, this augmentation activates in the presence of airborne toxins, such as tear gas or aerosol poisons, rendering them ineffective. It cannot reduce damage from airborne radioactive contaminants or particle energy effects, however. Secondary functionality gives people equipped with the Rebreather augmentation an additional reservoir of oxygen in the bloodstream, allowing them to surpass the normal limits of fatigue associated with sustained sprinting. The Rebreather augmentation's core components are implanted in the primary bronchi, where the lungs join the trachea. The device is a combination of nanomesh filter and oxygen circulation unit, a compact closed-circuit rebreather, which recycles and cleanses indrawn breaths before passing them on to the lungs. In addition, chemical exchange reactants injected into the alveoli assist in the process of blood oxygenation, enabling the user to resist exhaustion from extended physical efforts such as sprinting. So once we buy it, we get chemical resistance for free. Use renders immune to toxic gas and gas grenades. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The implanted rebreather device acts as an always-on chemical resistance filter without the need for a clumsy mask or oxygen tank. There is a point in the game where we need this in order to maximize our experience, but same as turret domination, that point is inside the last level, Panchaea. Before that, there's always a different way around gas, so this isn't that high of a priority for me. After we get chemical resistance, one more praxis gets us hyperoxygenation 1. Use, sprint for an extra 2.5 seconds. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. With practice, people equipped with the rebreather can use the unit's hyperoxygenation capacity to reduce the onset of fatigue from sprinting, allowing them to run faster for a period of 5 seconds. And from hyperoxygenation 1, another praxis gets hyperoxygenation 2. Use, sprint for an additional 2.5 seconds. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Experienced rebreather users can reduce the onset of fatigue from sprinting, allowing them to run faster for 7.5 seconds. Like I said, we do eventually need this, but not until the last level. Typhoon Explosive System. Use, launch mini explosives in a 360-degree arc at a range of 8 meters. Activation cost is 2 praxis. In effect, the Typhoon Augmentation turns its user into a human fragmentation grenade, placing him or her at the center of a blast radius that inflicts a ranged sphere of damage on surrounding targets in all directions without focus or aim. Every detonation requires the expenditure of 1 ammo pack and 1 energy cell. The Typhoon is an anti-personnel weapon implanted in a series of subdermal pads along the back of the user's arms, upper legs, and torso. The pads are loaded with a matrix of small, 10mm stainless steel ball bearings above a thin layer of fixed-focus electromagnetic repulsion field generators. On activation, the implant releases the ball bearings in an optimal 360-degree shrapnel shockwave cloud that inflicts severe damage on unarmored targets at close range, and an additional blowback effect on middle, distant targets. After we activate it, you get the light damage variant for free. Use, deals enough damage to kill all living targets. Robots get damaged, but not enough to be destroyed. Activation manual, energy consumption 1 energy cell. The base use of the Typhoon Explosive System is as a light damage variant designed to take down human adversaries at close range and inflict a minimum of local structural damage. One additional praxis from the light damage variant gets you the heavy damage variant. Use, deals enough damage to kill any enemy, including all robot types. Activation manual, energy consumption 1 energy cell. With practice, a seasoned user can optimize the Typhoon's electromagnetic projection matrix, enhancing the delivered damage to target ratio. This heavy damage variant will kill all foes at close range. Typhoon is the answer to the boss battles. They can be incredibly difficult if you haven't been stocking up on weapons, which I won't be, but Typhoon solves that problem. So we'll want to have a Tier 2 Typhoon before the first boss fight, which really isn't hard to pull off. Moving on, arm augmentations. Cybernetic Arm Prosthesis. We start off with the Cybernetic Arm Prosthesis. Use, variable per upgrade. Activation, variable per upgrade. Energy consumption, variable per upgrade. Fair enough. The Cybernetic Arm Prosthesis replaces the user's organic limbs with enhanced function mechanical substitutes. Initially, the augmentation allows the user to engage in impressive feats of close-quarter unarmed combat. As the user grows more comfortable with his or her new arm, the range of available skills widens to include punching through light walls, displacing heavy objects, carrying at an increased capacity, and compensating for weapon recoil. The Cybernetic Arm Prosthesis is an augmented artificial limb built on a framework of advanced polymers and lightweight metals. In place of an organic musculature, these augmentations utilize myomers, bunches of electro-stimulated plastic cables that mimic the actions of muscle tissues, but to a greatly strengthened degree. In combination with tiny motors and shock-absorbing liquid polymer buffers, these cyber limbs are capable of far exceeding human physical abilities. We also start with instant takedown. Use, take down a single individual. Activation, contextual, energy consumption, 1 energy cell. Fast-link neural servos inside the cybernetic arm improve agility and hand-to-hand combat prowess, allowing the user to engage individual targets in close quarters and incapacitate them instantaneously. We want to do, I'll just say this now, we want to do non-lethal takedowns on every enemy in the game. That gets us the most experience possible. In addition, you get a bonus for doing double takedowns. I'll talk more about that later. Anyway, Spend 1 praxis to get Punch Through Wall. Use Blast Through Weakened Walls. Activation Contextual Energy Consumption 1 Energy Cell. Mastering use of the Cybernetic Arm's shock buffers and strengthened bone frames allows people equipped with the prosthesis to break through light walls with a powerful punch. Punch Through Walls is useful, but we don't have to have it in order to get to most of the things that we need. But this is one that we want to get pretty quickly just because it makes things much, much simpler. Anyway, 1 praxis will also get us Move, Throw, Heavy Objects. Use Move and Throw Heavier Objects. Activation Contextual Energy Consumption Low. With practice, people equipped with the Cybernetic Arm Prosthesis will be able to optimize the limb's myomer muscle modules to greatly increase brute strength when picking up and tossing heavy objects. Pretty straightforward. Again, this one is highly useful and the one that we want to get fairly quickly, but it's not really necessary. It's still one that I want to get quickly, though, because it makes things so much easier. 1 additional praxis after either Punch Through Wall or Move Through Heavy Objects gets Recoil Compensation 1. Use reduces recoil by 1/2. Activation Automatic Energy Consumption None. A series of liquid polymer reaction management buffers installed in the cybernetic arm's wrist and elbow joints will reduce by 1/2 the recoil from any firearm once users become familiar with them. And 1 praxis from Recoil Compensation 1 gets Recoil Compensation 2. Use eliminates all recoil. Activation Automatic Energy Consumption None. Learning how to utilize the cybernetic arm's reaction management buffers in conjunction with its bioplastic shock absorption compressor will completely eliminate the recoil generated by any firearm, allowing for a stabilized aim even while firing in fully automatic mode. If you're not playing non-lethally, I imagine that this is incredibly useful, but it's useless to me, so once I get these, recoil compensation's pretty near the bottom of my priority list. Back to the top of the tree, 1 praxis gets us Carrying Capacity 1. Use increases inventory size by 2 columns. Learning to use the denser, heavy-duty bone frames inside the cybernetic arm allows people equipped with the prosthesis to carry about 30% more inventory loads than normal. 1 praxis from Carrying Capacity 1 gets us Carrying Capacity 2. Use increases inventory size by another 2 columns. Becoming adept with the limb's hex frame reinforcement allows users to carry up to about 70% more inventory loads than normal. And 1 more praxis from Carrying Capacity 2 gets us Carrying Capacity 3. Use unlocks the inventory's full size. Mastering the durable military specification survivable myomer muscle units inside the cybernetic arm allows users to carry about 110% more inventory loads than normal. These are all handy, but they're pretty near the bottom of the handy tier. So I'll get them, but not that soon. You'll excuse me, I need another drink. Alright, Aim Stabilizer. Costs 2 praxis to activate. Use reduces movement-induced aiming penalties. The direct practical effect of the Aim Stabilizer is to reduce the radius of the traveling reticule displayed on the user's optic interface, designating the target zone generated by a given firearm. The motion-dampening, stability-inducing augmentation narrows the fire zone, allowing the user to aim at targets with greater efficiency while moving. A cranial implant mechanism, the Aim Stabilizer is a decentralized augmentation with elements embedded in the user's nerve-brain connections, inner ear structure, and optic nerves. From second to second, the augmentation reads and processes inputs from the user's innate senses for balance and orientation, and modifies them accordingly based on current circumstances. Thus, the user's sense of balance and hand-to-eye muscle control is regulated and enhanced, providing a greater stability even at speed or while in extreme motion. Once we activate it, we get Aiming Motion Control 1 for free. Use reduces reticule growth due to movement by 50%. Activation Automatic Energy Consumption None. The Aim Stabilizer's base functionalities enable users to retain up to 50% of their targeting accuracy while in motion. 1 more praxis from Aiming Motion Control 1 gets Aiming Motion Control 2. Use negates all movement-induced reticule growth. Activation automatic energy consumption none. Increased familiarity with signals coming from the aim stabilizer's implanted elements enables users to maintain up to 100% of their targeting accuracy while in motion. Again, if you're not playing non-lethally and you're using the guns, I imagine all this is handy, but they're pretty useless for me and the way that I'm playing. Let's move on to eye augmentations. Smart Vision. Two praxis to activate it. Use see-through walls. An optical membrane implant that enables people already equipped with the Retinal Prosthesis to visually scan through walls, doors, and cover objects and see what lies beyond. This augmentation implants the human eye with a series of suspended organic plastic lenses which, in turn, use embedded circuitry to build on the basic data frame provided by the Retinal Prosthesis. By interfacing directly with the synthetic neural tissue spike that is connected to the optic nerve, it provides the implanted prosthesis with the ability to match visual silhouettes and body kinetics to microthermograph and T-wave lens modules, thus providing a limited degree of X-ray vision through walls and light cover. Once we get it, you get wall-penetrating imager for free. Use: track threats through walls. Activation: manual. Energy consumption: low. The thermographic and T-wave features installed in the IC Vision Enhancement package provide limited-range image penetration of low-density objects and cover obstacles immediately, enabling users to see what hides behind them. This isn't nearly as useful as it was in the first two games because we already have our radar system. So seeing through walls is sort of useful, but it's not that awesome. Next, we have the Retinal Prosthesis. We start off with Retinal Prosthesis. Use: main function is to display the HUD. Other possible upgrades are a cooldown timer and a flash suppressant. The Retinal Prosthesis is the basic chassis for all optical augmentations and must be implanted in both eyes before further, more specialized devices can be purchased. The HUD projected by the prosthesis provides data on the user's medical condition, available equipment, wireless access to personal data storage, and direct audio-visual telecommunications. An optical membrane implant and data frame for vision augmentations, this device is a microthin base coating layered onto the inside of the human eye, with a synthetic neural tissue spike connected to the optic nerve. It is capable of projecting digital information directly onto the retina. We also start with Retinal HUD. Use: displays the HUD and augmented reality. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. The Retinal Prosthesis comes with an optoelectronic retinal heads-up display that allows digital information to be directly displayed over the user's vision. One praxis gets us a cooldown timer. Use: know exactly when enemy combatants will drop out of their alarmed state and return to a relaxed standing. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. With practice, users of the Prosthesis will learn to analyze patterns in movements and behaviors, allowing the user to predict with startling accuracy the amount of time human targets will spend searching for intruders before giving up. You also, for one praxis, can get a flash suppressant. Use: protects against the effects of concussion grenades. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Experienced users of the Prosthesis can take advantage of its inherent self-preservation abilities, such as the flash suppressant, which prevents temporary or permanent blindness from all harsh light, including the most aggressive man-made sources. Both of these upgrades are pretty darn useless and near the bottom of my priority list. Let's go to back augmentations. Reflex booster. 2 praxis to activate. Use: take down multiple opponents. The Quicksilver Reflex Booster is essentially a supercharger for the human nervous system, boosting reflex speed and the firing of nerve clusters throughout the body. The direct effect of this means that the user is capable of reacting far faster than a normal person in a dangerous situation, enabling him or her to move quickly with split focus to engage more than one adversary. The Quicksilver Reflex Booster is a decentralized augmentation connected to nerve bundles in the legs, to a distributed set of disc implants in the spinal column, and to other elements of the body's vestibular system, which controls balance and agility. Working in concert, these elements send and receive digital pressure signals to a series of implanted integrated circuits, granting increased agility and corporeal control. Once you activate it, you get multiple takedown for free. Use: take down 2 opponents at once. Activation: contextual, energy consumption 1 energy cell. The Quicksilver Reflex Booster brings lightning-fast reflexes and superb agility to its users immediately, allowing them to engage and take down 2 discrete adversaries in a simultaneous encounter. This is the top priority. Get the Reflex Booster before you get anything else. Reason being, if you managed a double non-lethal takedown, that is the most experientially profitable way to deal with enemies through the entire game. So, the sooner you get it, the sooner you can start using it on enemies, and the more total experience becomes available to you. This even precedes getting the hacking level 5 augmentation. This is the very first thing I want to unlock. And after that, it'll be hacking capture, then I think the social augmentation, and then probably both of these. After that it gets a little fuzzy. I'll make up my mind later, but I do know this is number 1. This is up first. Icarus Landing System. We can activate it with 2 praxis. Use: fall from any height without fear of injury. The Icarus Landing System is a discrete augmentation surgically implanted in the user's lower back, slightly above the coccyx at the base of the vertebral column. The device has an accelerative descent sensor built in. In free fall, the unit will automatically activate the patented high fall safeguard system, an EMF decelerator generating a fixed focus electromagnetic lensing field projected downward along the plane of the drop. This field pushes against the Earth's magnetosphere and slows the user's descent to a manageable velocity, allowing him to fall from almost any height within reason. Once you activate it, you get Descent Velocity Modulator for free. Use: fall from any height without fear of injury. Activation: automatic. To stun nearby targets upon landing, press the fire button while falling. Energy consumption: none. Essentially a safety device to prevent death or serious injury when falling from extreme heights, the Icarus Landing System is an automatically triggered augmentation that allows users to drop from heights above 10 meters, 32 feet, without incurring physical damage. As a side effect, falling directly onto an enemy combatant will result in a knockdown, knockout attack, while striking a light object will displace it. This is very useful, and without glitches, it's actually necessary to get to a couple of places where we can get experience. So this is pretty high on the priority list as well. Skin augmentations. Dermal armor. Activated with 2 praxis, use: protects from damage. Essentially a technologically advanced version of implanted body armor, this augmentation is able to reduce inflicted damage effects from blunt trauma, ballistic attacks, cutting, and/or slashing attacks. Secondary functionality also provides protection from electromagnetic pulse (EMP) assault. However, dermal armor cannot reduce damage effects from airborne contaminants such as gas, environmental effects, radiation, toxins, and poisons, or falling trauma. Rhino dermal armor is a supple, micro-thin material implanted beneath the epidermis in key areas of the body, as well as over the surface of pre-existing cybernetic limbs. The structure of the plating is a phased composite. The base is a microfiber weave made from carbon nanotubes suspended in a dilatant or shear thickening fluid. When kinetic energy from a physical blow or a weapon discharge strikes the plating, the fluid becomes rigid, deflecting the impact shock. Heat and electromagnetically conductive elements in the armor matrix serve to dissipate damage from fire-related or energized trauma. Once you activate dermal armor, you get Damage Reduction 1 for free. Use: reduces damage by 15%, activation automatic, energy consumption none. The phased composite technology inside Rhino dermal armor provides superlative physical protection against the majority of combat-induced stresses, reducing damage taken by 15%. 1 praxis from damage reduction 1 gets you damage reduction 2. Use reduces damage by 30%. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Learning to anticipate the interaction between carbon nanotubes, dilatant fluid, and kinetic energy can substantially increase the effectiveness of the dermal armor, reducing damage taken from attacks by up to 30%. 1 praxis from damage reduction 2 will get damage reduction 3. Use reduces damage by 45%. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Mastering use of the dermal armor's phased composite structure increases the effectiveness of Rhino skin even more, reducing damage taken from attacks by 45%. 1 praxis from damage reduction 2 can also get you EMP Shielding. Use prevents augmentation, deactivation, and energy loss from EMP grenades and electricity. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Electromagnetically conductive elements in the armor matrix dissipate electrical and magnetic damage as it occurs, thus shielding users from the neural overload and augmentation shutdown effects of electromagnetic pulse EMP weapons at any range. This is very useful, obviously, and EMP shielding actually opens up a few areas that are otherwise much more difficult to get to, so this is something that we do want. The other skin augmentation is Cloaking System. 2 praxis to activate. Use. Become invisible for a short period of time. Warning, people can still hear you move. Activation manual, energy consumption high. When activated, the glass shield cloaking system augmentation bends the light hitting the user, rendering him practically invisible. The effect will work on any wavelength that is part of the visual spectrum, including laser beams. The glass shield cloaking system is composed of a grid of fine induction wires connected to a deep tissue control implant typically located in the back or rib cage, which in turn is linked to the brain. The matrix can be layered directly beneath the surface of the epidermis or over the plating of cybernetic limbs. When activated, it generates a tuned, fixed-focus electromagnetic field that temporarily adjusts the frequency of EM radiation around the user. The net effect is a cloak of invisibility, which appears near perfect. Once you activate it, you get base longevity for free. Use. Regulates the rate at which energy is consumed while cloaking. Activation time, 3 seconds per energy cell. In order to process the EM patterns of the local environment on a moment-to-moment basis, the glass shield cloaking system utilizes a neural link to the user's brain which drains bioenergy. When first implanted with it, users can operate their cloak normally for a period of about 3 seconds per energy cell expended. 1 praxis from base longevity gets you longevity upgrade 1. Use. Reduces energy consumption by 40%. Activation time 5 seconds per energy cell. With practice, people implanted with the glass shield cloaking system can learn to expend less bioenergy when utilizing the cloaking function, thus extending the implant's operational time to 5 seconds per energy cell. And 1 praxis from longevity upgrade 1 gets longevity upgrade 2. Use. Reduces energy consumption by 60%. Activation time 7 seconds per energy cell. Experienced users can learn to adeptly and efficiently enhance the shield's functionality while expending even less bioenergy, thus significantly extending operational time to 7 seconds per energy cell. This is extremely useful, and it's practically necessary to accomplish a lot of the double takedown, so we'll want to at least activate it very quickly. The longevity upgrades are handy, but they're not nearly as vital as having access to the cloak is. Finally, we get to the leg augmentations. Cybernetic leg prosthesis. Costs 2 praxis to activate it. Use variable per upgrade, activation variable per upgrade, energy consumption variable per upgrade. The cybernetic leg prosthesis replaces a person's organic limbs with enhanced function mechanical substitutes. On a basic level, these grant the user to reach greater heights while jumping. Additional functionalities, including enhanced jump range, greater sprint speed, and the ability to move without audible detection, become possible as familiarity with the augmentation increases. The Hermes 2027 Cybernetic Leg Prosthesis is an augmented artificial limb built on a framework of advanced polymers and lightweight metals. In place of an organic musculature, these augmentations utilize myomers, bunches of electrostimulated plastic cables that mimic the actions of muscle tissues, but to a greatly strengthened degree. In combination with tiny motors and shock-absorbing liquid polymer buffers, these cyber limbs are capable of far exceeding human physical attributes. If you'll pardon me, I needed another drink. Once you activate the cybernetic leg prosthesis, you get the jump enhancement for free. Use: jump up to 3 meters high, 9 feet. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Once comfortable with using the leg's higher density muscle bunches in tandem with the shock-absorbing gel matrix found in its knee joints and hip mounts, users can leap even higher than before, up to 3 meters, 9 feet into the air. After activating from cybernetic leg prosthesis, one more praxis gets you run silently. Use: run and walk silently. Activation manual, energy consumption low. Cybernetic leg users can become virtually silent while running once they learn to leverage tiny motors and shock-absorbing liquid polymer buffers found inside the prosthesis. One praxis from run silently gets you sprint silently. Use: sprint without generating any audible sound. Activation manual, energy consumption low. Even sprinting at full speed will produce no more noise than a gentle breeze once people equipped with the leg prosthesis have mastered the use of its lighter-phased carbide bone frames and myomer reaction initiators. One praxis from sprint silently gets jump/land silently. Use: jump and land from any height in total silence. Activation manual, energy consumption low. The same higher density myomer muscle bunches and shock-absorbing gel matrix in the knee joints and hip mounts, which enable cybernetic leg users to jump higher than ever, can also permit them to spring up and touch ground again without anyone hearing it occur. One praxis from the cybernetic leg prosthesis gets you the sprint enhancement. Use: sprint faster. Activation automatic, energy consumption none. Learning to maximize the cybernetic leg's lighter-phased carbide bone frames with its myomer reaction initiators allows people equipped with the prosthesis to reach a maximum sprinting speed of 7.5 meters, 24 feet per second. The leg prosthesis itself is pretty useful. We want the jump enhancement just for ease of exploring around places, and we also want run silently to help out with stealth, but again, now that we've spent a whole lot of time reading the details on everything, the top priority is the reflex booster. Right after that, I need to get hacking capture all the way up to 5. After that, we'll see. Things become more flexible, but those should be the top priority for everybody, at least if you're looking to maximize your experience. Let's look at the map tab. We already have a full map of Sarif Industries in Detroit, so let's zoom out so we can move around a little easier. That arrow shows us, where we are. This icon is an elevator. That's a staircase. Got ladies' room, men's room, and a helipad. If we want to change you can hit enter to move the map back to Adam's location at any time. If you go over here, you can look at the different levels. So this is level 1. Lower level, I don't see anything, but I guess it's there. Level 2, you've got the objective, meet with Pritchard in the tech lab. That's what the X is for. The I, of course, shows where you're standing at the moment. And a bunch of staircases and an elevator. If we go up to hop up to level 3, I see bathrooms, staircases, and elevators, no other points of interest. And up at level 4, same deal. Elevator, bathrooms, nothing else at the moment. Finally, if you go to the media log, you can see every email you've read. These are the ones from Megan's computer in the prologue. This is at Sarif headquarters. Once we go to other locations, we'll be able to pull them up at any time. And if you click on ebooks, you can read the text of any ebook that you've found. Here's the Patient X ebook, again, from Megan's office. So that's everything that the menus give us access to. With that done, it's time to get moving. So I'm going to move quickly just because I don't really want to get distracted exploring around here. I just want to get this done and then take my time and explore when I'm not on the clock. So for now, I'm going to head straight to Pritchard's office.
Attention, Ellen Marsfield. There is a package waiting for you at reception.
Yes?
Ellen Marsfield, there is a package waiting for you.
Yes?
He's right over here.
Why is David keeping the SWAT team from going in right away? Doesn't he remember the last attack?
You can't compare the two. Those guys were obviously military. These ones are just vandals.
Vandals with guns and bullets that kill people.
Look, David cares about his people, but he needs to protect his client's interests. Don't worry, I'm sure he's got a plan.
There are a few conversations like that we could only hear this time, so I'm going to run around and make sure I get all of those, but other than that, we're good. So let's talk to Pritchard.
About time. What happened? You get stuck in an air duct on the way over?
Yeah, nice to see you too, Francis. Something's wrong with my retinal display. Can you fix it?
If it's what I think it is, probably. Of course, it might seem. Looks like your left and right imaging processors weren't completely in sync. But don't worry, your Sentinel health implant will kick in soon, repairing any damage that might have caused. Your retinal display should be fine now. Its recognition software won't be picking up hostiles yet, but you should be seeing radar and targeting reticules. Biomedical data too, if you're in pain.
Right. We done here? Because Sarif is waiting for me at the helipad.
I know. Radicals have broken into our manufacturing plant and taken hostages. Maybe this time you'll actually save people.
I'll ignore that.
Lucky for you, I'm gonna ignore that comment. We're done here.
Meet with Pritchard in the tech lab, go to the helipad, new goal, getting things done, 150 experience. So let's go back into the menu. So, go to the helipad. With my retinal display working properly now, it's time to get on with this mission. Sarif is waiting in his private helicopter to brief me. The helipad is past the cafeteria. I'd better head there and speak to the pilot, Farida Malik, before climbing aboard. And 150 XP, 4850 to go. Let's get this ebook while I'm here. 200 experience, scholar update, The Nature of Neuroplasticity. I'm going to pop into the menu to read it so that my time doesn't tick down. The Nature of Neuroplasticity, Volume 15, from a lecture by Hugh Darrow given at the Byrne Institute of Medicine, 2013. The term neuroplasticity literally means the flexibility of the brain to reorganize itself based on the result of experience. 2 decades ago, the consensus among cognitive neuroscientists like yourselves was that lower brain and neocortical areas were unable to be changed after development, whereas structures such as memory could be actively altered in areas related to formation of recall. In a series of cleverly designed experiments, Michael Merzenich proved that somatosensory and auditory sensations, touch and hearing respectively, can, in fact, be modified through practice. This process of long-term potentiation was further explored in a series of studies in the mid-90s at Southern Illinois University, studies which clearly showed how memories could be enhanced by manipulating neuroplasticity. Indeed, with the precise timing available to us in today's computers, we can clearly see that the enhancement in learning can be applied for areas of the motor cortex, auditory cortex, somatosensory cortex, and hippocampus. Manipulation of neuroplasticity makes it clear that we as a species have been blessed with a brain that has an unparalleled flexibility to incorporate neuroprosthetic augmentations. I'll just say this, there are 29 ebooks in the game written by Hugh Darrow. Each one of them, when you read it, gives you 200 experience, and there's also an achievement for finding all 29. Don't worry, if you follow along with me, we will see them all. So let's get out of here. Quick save right quick, and I'm just going to check around for conversations that I can't hear later. I think there's at least one down here on the lower level, actually.
Nice 6 months. This can't be just a coincidence.
We hardly know anything yet. What if it's a complete misunderstanding?
Misunderstanding. Yeah, I could see the hostage takers now. Don't take this the wrong way, but everybody up against the wall.
I'm just saying, the only reason people are at the plant tonight is because we've been forced to work so much overtime ever since the first attacks.
Good point. No one was supposed to be there, so maybe it's just a break-in gone bad.
Thank you for holding. I'm not sure how I feel about this memorial.
What do you mean? The least we can do is remind everyone of the sacrifices our scientists made for this company. For the world, even.
Yeah, it's the reminding part that bothers me. I've been in therapy for months trying to forget that night. Seeing the bodies coming out all burned up like that.
I wasn't there, but I heard it was gruesome.
Megan, Eric, Vasily, the whole team gone in one awful flash. How could this have happened?
The how is not important anymore. We need to honor them by being true to their vision. Show those terrorists that they can't stop us from finishing the job.
I'm going to talk to the receptionist right quick, actually, because I think she has something unique to say.
Language, sir. My God, Mr. Jensen, I didn't think you'd. Wow. I guess you hear about the break-in. Did you need directions or something?
It hasn't been that long, Cindy. I may not look the same, but my memory's pretty intact.
Oh, I didn't mean. I mean, of course, your memory's fine, sir. It's just that well, things have been switched around a lot ever since the. Well, since the.
Ever since the first attack?
Yes, sir. The lab floors were pretty much demolished. We're rebuilding them, but most of our researchers are working off-site now. Everyone else has been shuffled around, so if you need help finding someone.
Where's the tech lab?
It's not really a lab, sir. It's more of an office with a lot of computer equipment shoved in it. Mr. Pritchard complains about it all the time. Go up the stairs behind me and take a right. You'll find it near the end of the hall.
I don't suppose we moved the helipad, did we?
I don't see how we could have moved it. Oh, you're teasing me. Very funny, Mr. Jensen. Go up the stairs to the second floor, then around the cafeteria to the exit. I think I saw Farida heading there earlier.
That's all we need for now.
I'll find my way.
If you say so. It's good to have you back, sir.
Please report
All
to
right.
testing lab 1C. Dr. Sandusky to testing lab 1C.
You had your say, and I learned my lesson.
That's the men's room. Here's the ladies' room.
I think it was too much of a risk. I mean, it's a miracle he didn't die in that operation.
It looks fine to me.
That's not the point. Those additional implants, the tracking system, and whatever else David put inside him, it was unnecessary. The body can only take so much when it's on life support.
Well, obviously David felt that after the attacks, it was important to have the best possible security. Is someone there?
You must be hearing things. Anyway, all I'm trying to point out is that this is just another example of David going too far.
You could be right. How do you think Jensen would react if he knew how close he came to death?
Hard to say. Anyway, we should get back to work.
Strange sort of work.
Welcome back.
Anyway, let's quick save and check the third floor for conversations right quick. I don't think there are any, but
I'm not gonna lie. It's been tough on everyone these past few months, especially in the new temporary.
Where are you, Adam? You don't have time to mess around. Get to the helipad, or something seriously bad is gonna happen.
Look what's going on at the plant right now.
You're right, but it's not just the isolation. It's a lack of leadership. Megan held everyone together so well. She was always the voice of reason.
I miss Megan too, Heather. That's why I make it a point to fight through the stress and try to finish the work she started.
You're right, I know. It's just, sometimes it feels like we're hanging on by a thread. I just hope David gets that.
alright. Now let's get out of here. Gotta head through this door.
All the contracts we lost because of the last attack, and the Washington hearings being postponed. Now this. Damn fanatics.
Do you think the news is right? That a pro-human group is behind this, Mr. Cannon?
Don't spread rumors, Dobell.
Sorry, sir.
As if working so much wasn't bad enough. We gotta defend ourselves against a bunch of self-righteous lunatics.
Being so understaffed.
You're not complaining now, are you, Dobell?
No, Mr. Cannon. Sorry.
Okay. Let's head this way right quick. We head down the stairs. Another one. Oh, maybe not. And we just head over here to the vent. I only do this now because it's close to where we're going anyway. Get 200 experience points for popping in there, an explorer bonus. And I'll head out this way to the helipad. People everywhere, but none of them are conversing, which I guess is good. So I just need to go up to the helipad itself. And talk to my pilot, Farida Malik.
Welcome back, Jensen. Didn't think we'd see you around here for a while yet.
You know how it goes, Malik. Duty calls.
Don't I know it? I was in my wingsuit halfway to the top of the Renaissance Center when I got the 911. But you? 6 months is a hell of a short time to come back from the dead. You sure you're ready for this?
Yep.
Only one way to find out.
Roger that. The boss is already on board, arguing with the DPD's tactical response team. They've got the plant surrounded, but Mr. Sarif wants you to go in first. You all set here? Because the sooner we take off, the better it will be for everyone.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Great. Then let's get airborne.
150 more experience for getting to the helipad. Takedowns can stun or kill. Just tap the key to stun or hold the key to kill. Anyway, as soon as the cutscenes are over, I'm going to call it a video, so I'll talk more about combat at the start of the next one, but essentially, I think I already mentioned.
I told Farida to put us down on a roof. I don't want the crowd seeing you go in.
Fine. As long as she pulls you out the minute I'm gone. So what am I looking at here? Who are these guys?
Pro-human purists, or so they say. The same purists who've been firebombing limb clinics all over the country.
You buy that?
No, I don't think it's a coincidence they hit us today, only hours after we moved the Typhoon in for assembly line factory.
The Typhoon? Megan's team was testing it the day that bastard... Who's on point for these guys?
Adam. I know you and Megan were once...
Who is on point for these guys?
Goes by the name of Sanders. That's him, there. He's an augmented Adam, so he can't be one of the mercs who attacked us, but he did know exactly how to get inside our plant.
Alright, so how do you want me to handle this?
First priority is the Typhoon. I'm keeping SWAT out until you've secured it. As far as rules of engagement go, I'll defer to you. Lethal or non-lethal?
Non-lethal.
I'm not looking to start a firefight in there, just neutralize them.
Okay. But just make sure those bastards don't wake up and warn their friends. You remember what it's like in there? A lot of tight enclosed hallways. But the labs themselves are pretty open. High ceilings. So, do you want something you can use from a distance? Or up close?
Distance weapon. Tranquilizer rifle.
Give me something with distance. If I get too close, I'll take them out personally.
Just try not to break anything expensive. The Typhoon should be in the factoring labs, but Pritchard will tell you more as you go in. I've got him running comms.
Terrific. Anything else?
Keep your eyes open for hostages. Free them if you can, but the Typhoon is your #1 priority. We developed it for the Alphabet agencies, and if we don't deliver it to them intact and still a secret, well, I'm sure you'll get the job done right.
Explosive mission pack. Thank you for pre-ordering this game. As a thank you, we have placed the following item in your inventory. M28 Utility Remote Detonated Explosive Device, URDED. As an added bonus, an exclusive mission only available with this pack will be unlocked later in the game, along with the following: automatic unlocking device, grenade launcher. Enjoy! Tactical Enhancement Pack. Thank you for pre-ordering this game. As a thank you, we have placed the following items in your inventory: Huntsman Silverback Double-Barrel Shotgun, Longsword Whisperhead Silenced Sniper Rifle, and 10,000 extra credits. Enjoy!
Gentlemen, prepare for landing.
Alright. Well, we got a whole bunch of new business happening, but because I think I've done enough talking and this has gone on long enough, I'm just going to take this opportunity to save the game. Well, F5 doesn't seem to be doing much. Oh, it won't let me save right now. Awesome. I wonder what the problem is. There we go. Save, save, save. And I'm going to call that a video. So, this has been Let's Play Deus Ex Human Revolution. Most of it was devoted to discussing the augmentations, which will be available throughout the game. We've arrived at the Sarif manufacturing plant, which will be the first real mission. So, I will see you guys next time. For that, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.